pretty challenging times here in the City of Angels for the last few days. But in moments like these, I think I and many of us look to the past to remind ourselves that the immigrant community has been here before, and they have always found a way to fight back with courage, creativity, and community. So today, I have the honor of standing here with a person who embodies that spirit, a Chicano legend, Mr. Cheech Marin himself.
We are going through troubling times right now. I made Born in East LA 40 years ago, based upon a true story of a young man who was grabbed by the immigration forces and deported, although he was an American citizen. And so I was reading that in the newspaper and listening to Bruce Springsteen at the same time, and I started singing Born in East LA, and that too became a movie. So we have to stand up to everything that's going on right now, because if we don't, it will continue to go on. I call on all the artists right now, especially those Chicano artists who are going through this with the rest of us. It is time to now let us hear from you through your art to weigh in on the things that are happening right now vis-a-vis immigration and their communities. We are part of the community, have always been the community. It's called Los Angeles, the state of California, next to the states of Arizona, Colorado, Texas. We are part of the community and a big part of the community, and that cannot be disrespected, and we will not let it be disrespected through our art. You don't gain respect by throwing bombs and bricks and Molotov cocktails. You gain respect by showing who you really are and how you uphold the community. And that's what I've tried to do all my life.
I grew up in the years where every boy I knew wanted one of those giant...
Got it.
Right. And so if they knew I was talking to you in person right now, I'd be a big star too. I want to appreciate you for your contribution to arts, entertainment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Soto-Martinez, on bringing this iconic legend for our community in. And I am choked up for having you here today. Thank you for the anthem that was part of my life, Mexican American. Because Mexican Americans, we love our ninos and our ninas and our no.
And have a son-in-law named Jeff.
Brother-in-law named Jeff. That movie was really powerful at a time when our community was still in the struggle. And here we are today, fast forward, we're still in the struggle. It's been rough. It's been rough. Yesterday we had ICE raids in the San Fernando Valley. And Born in East LA was an important movie to capture and tell the stories that were so often ignored. When we couldn't yet capture on our iPhones what was happening to our community, you put it on the mainstream media to show everybody what our community endured. I too was born in East LA. It's part of my story. And as a Valley girl who grew up struggling for so many of members of our community to be seen, I want to thank you for showing how you made our community be recognized through the power of storytelling, through the acquisition of Chicano art, for showing the financial strength of who we are, for making that investment. I think about you, I think about Cástulo de la Rocha, who also has a remarkable collection of Chicano art. This moment for me is a call to every Latino to exemplify and show our economic strength in this moment. Because if we want to change the course of the direction of what we're living through once again, it's to show it through our economic strength and our collective force. to make the investments that will get them to change their behavior and get those people that have been silent in watching what is happening to us yet again, to change course. So for that, I want to thank you for being that example, for showing up, making those investments in all of those incredible Chicano artists, that you have been able to preserve that storytelling. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for our community, for showing up and being who you were, taking those moments. Because again, I was the square. I didn't know about it. I never knew about all those other parts of the movies. Never really got it. But that movie, for me, Born in East LA, was truly part of the anthem of what we needed to be. And for that, I want to say thank you so much. And it's an honor for me to be here and have you here be recognized, especially in this moment. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Rodriguez and all of our colleagues.
I'm just looking around the room. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Where have all the council members gone? Maybe they're all just hanging out in the bathroom
So
back
can we
there.
pause this time really quick? So, Mr. Kwan, I'm going to ask that you stick to the items for the first minute or your remaining 45 seconds. You're welcome to speak to this during general public comment. Go ahead.
Ask Maurice to go make sure the squawk box is very loud back there. I want to make sure the council president can hear me. Item 8, this is like a really weird preemptive authorization of outside counsel. Wherever Councilmember Yaroslavsky is, I appreciate the amendment, capping this thing at $250K. I do think it's weird that we keep on talking about our response, our liability, and we talk about the federal government. What is the real liability we're dealing with? It's LAPD, them gassing and beating protesters. For fuck's sake, this weekend you saw Jacob Soboroff, of all normies out there, aghast at people being brutalized for no fucking reason. So let's just be real. This is in response to LAPD liability. This isn't the federal government. I empathize with what you're going
General
through.
public comment?
But you guys control the cops. I really wanted Marquise to be here, and maybe that's why he left. And that is our Charter Reform Commission. All of the commissioners have been wondering, where is that extra commissioner? They've had a hard time getting a quorum because they only have 7 of them. Back in February, Marquise is the commissioner. Jorge Nuno resigned. Bob Blumenfield has not made an appointment since then. All of the commissioners are frustrated. And the clerk spoke up this week and said, oh, well, Jorge Nuno's resignation was not received until just before our last meeting a week prior. Now, that's funny because that resignation didn't go up, and you can look at it now on the council file. It's dated February 19th. So Marquise Harris-Dawson sat on this resignation for 4 months just to block Bob from appointing somebody. I see we
Next
got some
speaker.
more people out here, Grope, but we got to get a quorum check.
So, Mr. Kwan, you know the rules. Next speaker.
I think everybody wants their fucking
Okay.
council members here.
So, Mr. Kwan, this is your first and only formal warning. Please do not disrupt this meeting. I really don't want to. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to? Okay. Mr. Chair, Mr. Kwan has been warned and is eligible for removal if you would like.
Camera director, can you zoom in? Thank you. 4 cops committed suicide. 4 cops committed suicide. I'm speaking to you, members of LAPD, law enforcement. I see you as fellow human beings doing a job to support your families. 4 police officers killed themselves after January 6th. Just one day. This administration ordered 30 days of chaos in Los Angeles. How many cops are going to kill themselves? The families of these officers didn't receive pensions because their deaths were ruled suicides. Do you know that the Democrats and do you know what the Democrats and Republicans did? They gave them medals. The family's medals. Your life, your family is worth more than a medal. This is not red versus blue. This is rich versus poor. Don't fight on the behalf of the billionaires. You have free will. You don't have to do this. You need to support your family. I get it. That's why I'm proposing that City Council, these people right here, allocate funds from the bloated police budget to create the Officer Humanity Fund, a fund that will provide severance packages to officers who choose not to participate in the oppression of their own people.
Speaker,
Please,
your time has
no one's trying to
expired.
hurt you. end, if you follow these
Speaker,
orders blindly,
your time has expired. We have to move on to the next speaker. At this point, you are disrupting this meeting because we cannot move on to the next speaker. So this is your first and only formal warning. Please vacate the podium so we can move on to the next speaker.
I'll speak on the only item,
Did you want general as well?
and then general public comment.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
I'll speak to the public at this clown show of incompetence on all available items and general public comment. Item 8 is for the corrupt city attorney to retain outside counsel against the federal government and the orange guy. However, this item being the only item on the agenda is an indication of the extreme level of incompetence of sleazy Harris-Dawson and the rest of this council. In my opinion, this item should include funding for and the solution of this incompetent government causing $256 billion fire damage, and I demand that this language be added. This item should include funding for the outside counsel to help prosecute the corruption of sleazy Dawson, indicted Current Price, and why this corrupt government has misappropriated billions in homeless funding into their own pockets. In my opinion, this item should be funded by the $1 billion police budget increase given to the LAPD last year by the idiot clowns, causing the current $1 billion city budget deficit.
General public
Onto
comment?
General public comment. This LA Council is nothing more than a sleazy Harris-Dawson's incompetent, corrupt enterprise of organized crime as evidenced by the $1 billion emergency homeless epidemic emergency. $275 billion fire damage with 16,000 structures and 6,000 homes burned emergency. The Attorney General, the FBI, and the IRS currently in a massive investigation of our corrupt, sleazy council city government's misappropriation of billions and homeless funds. The good news, Dawson and his crew are going to jail. Councilman Englander in prison for corruption. Garcetti's deputy mayor, 12 years. Mark, the 30-year pimp. Ridley Thomas convicted. Racist Asian John Lee indicted for ethics violations. Martinez. Gilbert Cedillo and Kevin Leon ousted for insane racism. Jose Huizar, 12 years for corruption. Current Price indicted.
Next speaker.
I did sign up as former Republican after what, let's talk about with the outside counseling. You know, after watching ICE do what they did and watching the abuse, I had to call and I had to resign. I said, how could I be a Republican and watch people being hurt and lives being destroyed? Why wasn't ICE at the riot, at the riots afterwards and taking care of so-called real criminals? No, they pick on the innocent. And if we're looking at outside counseling, maybe we should try to help those who are being held. And they're just being held, and there's nothing that anybody can really do for them. So as far as outside counseling, let's support. And I like something that Ms. Rodriguez said, that we as Latinos have to come together financially. Somebody called me a privileged person. He doesn't realize that I came from the streets. He doesn't realize that I work the farms, but he thinks I'm a privileged person because I choose to dress up. Public comment. 2 weeks ago I was here and I was so happy because up in the 12th, in my area on Reseda, they were fixing the wall there, E.T. Park. And then I go over to take pictures, and next time I will bring you the pictures. The workmanship that was done to that wall was the disgrace. Now, if I was to go over 2 more exits to Mason and Ceston, that wouldn't take place. But on Reseda and Ceston, it looks like hell. Now, and I can't think that this is a city worker who did this kind of work. It can't be, because city workers take pride in their work. But then again, that whole street has been lost. People running around, turning tire graffiti, just destroying the community.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker. So, Mr. Candido, we need to move on to the next speaker. Please vacate the podium. Thank you. Next speaker.
My comments for the item 8 would be brief. I want to thank our brave law enforcement officers and our district attorney Hawkman for heroically defending the law-abiding citizens of this city against the Democrat domestic terrorists. I'm moving to general comment.
Okay, can we hold his time? I'm sorry, I can't tell who's making the noise. Again, you might hear
He's the
things
one
that you,
making
hold
the
on,
noise
speaker, your
every
time is
time.
paused.
Can you take
It's
him
not
out?
your opportunity to speak. So let me address the audience. So for members of the audience, again, this is public comment, an opportunity for public comment, so you may hear things that are offensive, you may hear things that you disagree with. I'm going to ask that you please show everyone the same courtesy that they have shown you, and do not disrupt their public comment. When we have to pause and give this announcement, it will make you eligible for a warning and potential removal. Sorry, go ahead.
General public comment.
Okay, you have
Mayor
1 minute.
Bass and Los Angeles City Council members, you are the de facto leaders of these terrorist groups. You siphon public funds into NGOs that bankroll your mercenaries and your campaigns. Your sponsored domestic terrorists have been destroying the city for an entire week, and you have the audacity to demand due process. Let me educate you on due process. Due process for millions of legal migrants like me is citizenship. For illegal border crossers is deportations. And for domestic terrorists like you, it's prison. You don't speak for the immigrant community, for the law-abiding immigrant community. You represent chaos, lawlessness, and violence. You are simply a bunch of domestic terrorists. May God bless the United States of America and President Trump for his effort to make this country safe. Thank you.
Next speaker. Mr. Candido, you've been warned multiple times. I'm going to ask that this is your, okay, well, this is your second warning, and you are eligible for removal. Good morning.
Morning, Gro.
Which
Item
items?
8 and general public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Item 8 is really interesting, as Mr. Kwan so eloquently mentioned. This mentions legal services based on actions by the federal government. However, all of the liabilities we're incurring are from the LAPD. And while a lot of you are on social media waxing poetic about how if you come for one of us, you come for all of us, and the city stands on immigrants, I don't see any of you, not even you, Ulysses, who have been posting your picture with Councilmember Rahman holding your fist up. I haven't seen either of you speak out against the LAPD or call for a third-party investigation on how they've handled these demonstrations. Also, July 2nd through July 30th is a really big recess. How come y'all get so much vacation? We pay your salary. You should be coming to work a little more often, to be honest. And we don't get, workers don't get that kind of vacation. Yeah, that's right, Tracy. I see you chuckling. You shouldn't have that long of a vacation. It's kind of bullshit that we have to pay for that. The clock strikes upon the hour when the meeting should begin, but the tardy council never starts at 10 a.m. I can't imagine being paid so much and always starting late, and among your shortfalls, you won't let us call. I want to call into meetings. I want to use the phone to share feelings about what this council is doing. Reinstate remote comment. Spend more time hearing comment. And let us use the phone to make comment. Why are you so afraid of the public? Reinstate telephone comment. We want to call the people, want to call to make comment. We want to call the people, want to call to make comment. How come not a single one of you has stood up to your president and said, bring back telephone comment for accessibility to meetings?
Next speaker.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call a few more names. Nadi Casanova, Peltiel, Michael Ebenkamp.
Hey, I'm coming around on ska.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to? The item in general?
It's the one about the, is it the one about the legal counsel?
The outside counsel contract,
Can I
yes.
get that and general public comment, please?
Of course. So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. I missed you, girl. So I think it's really crazy. First of all, none of y'all fucking paying attention, so shame on y'all. That's why you need outside legal counsel.
So Speaker,
That's
may I
why
ask-
you need outside legal counsel. is because you guys don't pay attention. And one day, these people who have the means, maybe even like Candido, I think he can afford more than just a suit, probably some
Can we
legal.
pause this time really quick? So, Speaker, that's not what the outside
No,
counsel
I mean,
conduct
well,
is
because they're
about.
getting legal counsel, outside legal counsel. I'm saying why they need it. They need outside legal counsel because for that month, they're likely to face lawsuits because they're suspended the Brown Act for themselves and the way that they conducted the police, putting them in harm's way and putting the people against them on social media. So they like to play both sides, which puts them in legal trouble because you have cops that got to fight for a workman's comp, got sciatica, crazy back problems, and then you got them acting like they're for the people, the council members going on social media acting like, oh, we stand with you against the police. It's all bullshit. They're using everybody as meat shields to keep the public away from them. It's bullshit. That's why they need outside legal counsel. Public comment. We need a truce. I'm calling on everybody. We saw a couple examples here, people getting into it. We need to put a truce. I know we got some racists. I know we got some activists. I know we got, police that have shot some people. Listen, okay, we need operational maturity. We don't have time for everybody to figure shit out. That time is done. We don't even have time for everybody to do psychedelics, meditate, achieve nirvana, figure out the tax system. We lost all the time for that. We need the cops to one day, soon you will be forced to make a decision to pick a side between the people above you and the people you're supposed to serve. And the public will have to make a decision to put our personal feelings, very valid feelings aside, because we might have to become strange bedfellows with some of these cops and some of these people in these council offices, these council members' aides. We need a truce because what we need to do is do what needs to be done, maybe even occupy these city hall chambers, okay? The public needs to come together. Trump supporter, Democrat.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker. So, Speaker, your time has expired. You are now disrupting this meeting. I need you to vacate the podium so that we can move on to the next speaker. And as done before you begin, Speaker, I'm going to ask that the previous speaker, please do not hop over the banister again. That is for your safety and for everyone else's safety.
So for this comment, for item 8, authorizing the city attorney to retain and appropriate funding outside the council as appropriate to assist in any litigation, investigations, or other activities calling for legal services based on actions by the federal government arising between July 2nd and July 30th. I'm just very concerned that it's in a very broad section. We should very much focus more on focusing on ICE arresting people who are just without warrants or anything like that. Secondly, going into public comment.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Let me see. Sorry. I want to speak in regards to ICE committing raids on our city, especially around the northeastern part of the San Fernando Valley, which is my home of District 7. Witnessing individuals in unmarked vehicles and obscured license plates carrying out arrests is not enforcement. It is authoritarian and tyrannical. These operations are being carried out without warrants, targeting businesses and arresting Latino community members, some of which who are legal citizens. I urge the council to thoroughly investigate these arrests as they appear to have been conducted without due process. I would also call on the council to strengthen enforcement of the sanctuary laws that are enacted to curb these unlawful arrests. It is critical that we uphold these protections and ensure the rights and dignity of all members of our community. Through the use of ways of this, we could even escort immigrants through their locations. I yield my time. Thank you.
I'd like to say a few words about what ICE has been doing. It's making everybody scared pretty much. People not just scared for themselves, people scared for their parents, people scared for their friends and their parents. It's getting like a whole aura of fear around the city because of it. And I think that the people in the government locally should take a more hard line, use more aggressive language, say things like fascist when they see what's going on. I yield my time.
I live How is that? Yeah. No, I am a legal resident. I'm not resisting. You're breaking my fucking arm.
So that's just a clip of me getting false arrested by LAPD as a downtown LA resident for violating curfew, for walking around. I was brutalized. I was targeted because they did not like the questions I was asking about the budget and their liability lawsuits. I have been targeted by LAPD for months as an activist and organizer. I have been shot with rubber bullets twice in the last month for no reason. I have it on video, just using my megaphone, leading a chant. That is my right to free speech, First Amendment, and I was shot with a rubber bullet. I'm suing the city just like many other people are, and it's concerning because estimates have been up to like $100 million or more in lawsuits that are coming out of these protests because of the way specifically LAPD handled this. And it sucks because it doesn't come out of their budget, it doesn't come out of their pensions. It comes out of our city money, and it needs to stop. They need to be held accountable for this. We clearly know that there are gangs within the LASD and the LAPD, and I know the difference because I'm an activist. I know different officers from different stations. And this station, this unit that specifically arrested me, we're a bunch of thugs. They verbally and physically assaulted me for walking around after curfew, and as a downtown resident, I am exempt. The whole thing was live streamed, and that's just one thing. They have been hurting everybody, targeting journalists, targeting other activists, just exercising the right to free speech. Enough is enough. They need to be held accountable. This money cannot come out of our city funds anymore. They need to have this come out of their pension or their budget, because they're not going to stop doing this. On this live stream where I got arrested, false arrested, I literally said, if you touch me, it's another lawsuit. And the sergeant actually said, it doesn't matter. They act with impunity. They think they're never going to be held accountable for this. It's enough. Please do something.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call a few more names. Boxer, Lionel Mares, and Brandon Fisher.
Okay, I'm going to ask that the staffer reread those names in just a second. The gentleman who's in the white shirt who just stood up and shouted out, please do not disrupt this meeting.
Okay, we're going to give our first warning. If you continue, we will have you removed from council pursuant to Rule 7 and 12.
Thank you. We'll restart your time.
Okay, officers, can you please remove this gentleman for disrupting our meeting?
And that speaker was warned already and has been ordered removed from the meeting. So, Speaker, I'm going to need you to please exit the room quietly so we can continue with public comment. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Daniel Sosa. I'm a lifelong resident of Los Angeles. I'm also the biggest LA taxpayer in this room. And I really appreciate you listening carefully to my very important public comment. Yes, item 8, great. Let's do that. But what we also need is a third party related to the protests, is a third party investigation into LAPD's actions over the last 2 weeks. I really don't appreciate getting tear gassed multiple times, arrested for failure to disperse, and flashbang grenaded in my ear, and now I have to go to the doctor for my ear because a flashbang went off too close to it. And I really don't appreciate the violence because I'm just out here peacefully protesting and standing up for my community and exercising my First Amendment right, which is what 99% of the people out there are doing. General comment. LAPD needs to do better. I really appreciate you guys listening to me here. LAPD needs to do better and frankly needs systemic change. City leadership needs to do better by acknowledging and addressing the violence that has been unleashed on peaceful protesters, journalists, and even young women just trying to go home. And if civil rights isn't a good enough reason to address this, then let's make it a budget issue. The city can't afford this. Some estimates say that lawsuits from these protests could cost the city up to $100 million. Do better, Los Angeles. Do better by your residents. And by the way, let's ban tear gas. It's a chemical weapon under international law, and it's banned for use in warfare by the Geneva Convention. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, City Council. Lionel Morris, General Public Comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
My name is Lionel Morris, a longtime City 6 resident in Malapadias District and a community and budget advocate with the Neighborhood Council Budget Advocate, speaking as an individual. First, I'd like to congratulate Cheech Marin. Thank you for being here. Wonderful presentation. And I'd like to thank Ethics Commissioner Jeffrey Dar and Chief Controller Rick Cole for their public service to the City of Los Angeles. I am the son of immigrants who came to this country to seek a better life. I am the first to attend and graduate college. For that, I am forever grateful for my parents who worked really hard to provide a better life for me and for my community. I stand in solidarity with my community. Our communities have been traumatized by the current raids. I urge the City Council and the Mayor to support our communities from further trauma and suffering. Franklin Roosevelt said, "We are all children of earth. Grant us the simple knowledge. If our brothers and sisters are oppressed, then we are oppressed. If they hunger, we hunger. If their freedom is taken away, our freedom is not secure." And tomorrow's Budget Day, I invite the City Council and the members of the community to attend Budget Day at City Hall. Thank you.
And I would like the council to actually pay attention to me when I'm up here. Thank you, Councilmember Nazarian, for actually doing so. My name is Brendan, and I'm a resident here in downtown. And I want to start off by saying I understand and appreciate the information you shared for knowing our rights and how to stay safe in the context of these ICE raids. That said, we have to recognize the fact that they are still masked, not showing identification, kidnapping people off the streets. We have a military that's poised to clamp down on any protesting, and a police force that's too content to use excessive force. So at the end of the day, what does it matter if I know my rights if they're going to be trampled on without a second thought? And for other people who are too scared to even exercise them and are instead hiding in fear. So, City Council, if you would actually pay attention and stop having side conversations, I implore you to find the resolve and find the creative ideas to actually protect the people, not just inform them and sit by and not pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members of the council. I had a very special presentation visiting us from the Melbourne City Council. We have City Councilor Rafael Camillo, who is with us today. He is the first Brazilian immigrant to Australia to be a member of the Melbourne City Council. So we want to welcome him to Los Angeles City Hall this morning.